So welcome to the video, guys. I'm making a new series on a game programming tutorial series, and we're gonna learn how to make a RPG game where you can walk around a map and it'll have textures and tiles and just basically a basic game. Well, it's when I say basic, it's really gonna go on for quite a while and quite a lot of episodes, but it's not going to be like anything 3D, because to do that you'd have to learn like an engine or something nowadays, as it'd take a lot of coding just to make something 3D. But yeah, we're gonna code up a 2D RPG where you can walk around the map, and eventually we'll come on to something like saving and loading the map, and a bit of like a storyline and missions, as well as barriers, so you can't walk in certain areas, and just an actual map design. So anyway, this first video is going to be on setting up the main actual window for the game and just creating some graphics for it. So, well, not actually drawing the graphics, but you know what I mean, like just coding up a basic framework to begin with. So what I'm going to do is make a new folder on my desktop. I'm going to call it YouTube RPG, and I'm going to open up the folder, and inside the folder I'm going to actually just make a new Python script. But I recommend what you do is just come into IDLE and just file save as, and just save it in that folder you created. Where is it now? YouTube RPG, and just call it main. This is the main file, and then just open it with IDLE. And oh god, it's actually just printed all this. Okay, that's brilliant. Right, so now we have a fresh new file that we're going to use. This is going to be the main exe file once it's compiled. So this is going to store all the actual main game loop and things in it. So all we need to do at the minute is import Pygame and sys. And the reason why I'm importing sys is because we can then exit the game correctly. So the first thing, what I'm hoping you guys can do at the minute is, the requirements to carry on with this series is, you should probably know a bit about Python and a bit about Pygame as well, as the module I'm using is called Pygame, and you should probably know a bit about that before you actually start with this series. So if you don't know anything about Python or Pygame, just please check out some tutorials, and you can learn the language. Otherwise you're gonna get lost. So wait, and when I say you're gonna get lost, I don't mean go away, I mean you are gonna get stuck, and you're gonna get stuck on learning the code. So pygame.init. All we need to do first is initialize Pygame, and that'll just initialize all Pygame's variables and functions and classes. So what we're going to do next is, so I actually have to do a voiceover now because I accidentally stopped muting my mic. So anyway, what we're doing after with pygame.init is, well, I'm probably a bit out of sync from the video right now because I'm doing a voiceover, but basically we're defining a function to create the window. As to create the window, we need to we might need to create it many different times around the application. So I'm making some global variables called window height, and window width, and these global variables, and the window title as well, because we're going to need these in the application. Probably need to access them sometime. So now I'm setting the window width and the window height to default what do you call it, default values, so which is 800 by 600 for this window I'm doing. And then I'm setting the actual window title to equal what I want the title to be, which I'm going to think of an actual name for the this game, but for now I'll just call it YouTube RGB. RGB? RPG. And now I'm just setting the title to the window, using this function, pygame.display.setCaption, and we're gonna, in there we just have to put the title we want in there as a string. And the next part is just setting up the actual window, which we're calling it window, and we're setting it equal to pygame.display.setMode. And this set mode, we're going to just copy and paste the window width, window height variables into there as a tuple. And next we're going to create some flags for the window, so we can keep the window hardware accelerated and double buffered, making it so hardware accelerated makes it much faster to draw things to, and it also, double buffered mode is what it sounds like, it's double buffered, so things that get drawn are much smoother, like in motion, so there's not any screen tearing. If you get in a very high frame rate though, you shouldn't see screen tearing. So we're going to add these flags in now, hopefully, if I'm not too out of sync. So pygame dot hardware surface and HW surface, that's what it's called, and then you have to pipe that with the pygame dot double buffered mode, which is double buff. And that is it for the window. That's all the flags. So now we have a window that'll obviously we can render things to in the game. So this is our main actual application window. So the next part, we want to actually create a variable that's going to stay true for as long as our app is actually running and active for. So we're just going to call that isRunning and set it equal to true. And then we're going to do the main game loop and just do a while loop of while is running. So while is running equals true, in other words. So we're going to go through all the events in Pygame. So for event, we're setting a variable called event, which is in pygame.event.get, and that is going to get all of our, it's going to go through all Pygame's events. So then we're going to say if the event's type equals pygame.quit, then we want to set isRunning to false, obviously, so it exits the while loop. And the next part is after it's come out of the while loop, we want to just quit the application, so we do pygame.quit, and that'll just close Pygame. And then we do sys.exit, and sys.exit, what that's going to do is just completely end the process of this program that we're creating. So then now inside the loop, what we want to do is we want to render the graphics. So to start off, we want to first of all fill the background with some sort of colour, because we draw it in layers, obviously. So things that get drawn, say you draw something before something else, that's going to draw underneath the thing you're drawing afterwards. So the first thing we want to draw is the background, and then we want to draw the next things after that, so they draw on top. So we're doing 0, 0, 0 because that's black, and it's a tuple of red, RGB, red, green, blue. So 0 red, 0 green, 0 blue makes black. And then we want to update the display, so that's just pygame.display.update. And we run it, and we see we have an error saying window is not defined, and the reason for this is because we haven't actually called the create window function. We've defined it, but we haven't actually called it yet. So all we need to do is go below create window, and we just want to call that. So just type create underscore window and call it as a function, and then there we go, we have our window. It's got our title, and it's just filled with black as we told it to, and it's got the default logo, which we can change. It's got a minimize button, currently no maximize button though, but we can add that in if we added another flag to the window. Pygame.resizable flag we need to add, and if we click on the close, yep, it closes off, which is brilliant. So that is basically that's a basic window. So in the next tutorial, I'm going to go into more actually drawing the terrain and more about drawing graphics in general, and probably an FPS counter as well to go over the top of that. And we'll probably get actually more into making it a game. So I'll see you in the next video.